Gentlemen, we definitely need to move on to other issues. There are a whole lot of issues we need to talk about. But let's move on now. Closely related to this is the issue of the calls for secession, the issue of asylum for persecuted members of IPOB, and then calls for referendum. I joked earlier that some of us, we need this asylum. It's the UK government. I need this asylum right now. All right, Shola, but let's begin with you. Really, any cause for alarm, really? I mean,
I just think that we play with lives a lot in this part of the world. People have been going for asylum to real long. You know, I'm trying to be a gentleman now because of the law that is on some of the media stations now. But everybody, a lot of people have gone for asylum. Even my people have been asking me, what are you still doing? Come now, you are dying there, and it's true. No light, that's killing. You can't function. You run your generator, you don't even know. You can't produce anything. You can't work on anything. You are just there. You don't know where you are in this part of the world. So the issue of asylum is just a mouth saying. It has been on. Do you know the number of people that have left this country? All these expats you are hearing abroad, this person just discovered something in Japan, another Nigeria just won an award, guys in US are doing great things, in England these are people who ran away. They escaped from this country. Most of the people that are succeeding outside this country were not those who willingly love to go. It is a situation, the kind of situation they found themselves makes them push away from this country. You want to imagine how some people left this country? Now because political statements were made by a country that they are going to give asylum to one group. These are political statements. People have been seeking for help all over the world. Nigerians are everywhere. What will Nigeria be doing in Lebanon, for God's sake, if not because of internal unrest? What will Nigerian citizens be doing in Libya? Is that where they find themselves even worse? Why will Nigerians be going on the Mediterranean Sea, dying on high sea level? Come on, they should just that language doesn't mean anything at all. People run away to Ghana. They will leave this country not because they love to stay, they love to live, but some have left their family. It's like we are in a war zone. Before you know it, the husband will be calling the wife from UK or England that I'm sorry, I have to do this, but it's for the family. Just give me some time. I will let you know if I'm settled. Is that not worse than somebody going for an asylum?
All right.
On a record that you are talking of, let me call it record asylum, because they register. What of the one that you don't even know where they are? Either they are dead or alive. Okay. They will call home, they will have to call their family after 5 years when they know they have survived. How about?
All right, so Sunday, what are your thoughts? Especially the fact that IPOB on its own have put out a statement saying, look, we don't need your asylum. We need a referendum.
That's why I say it's a political statement by two guys.
I think it's a dangerous trend, because for a foreign country to guarantee people who are protesting or agitating for separation, to guarantee, promise them asylum, shows that their struggle is becoming legitimate in that country, in those countries. So they are recognizing the legitimacy of their agitation, and that is the first step of giving support to a group that is becoming separatist. Like the last discussion we had, people attacking public institutions. If you look at it critically, that is rebellion. They are adopting guerrilla warfare. Okay? Now, when these people now talk of this asylum, they are in a way bolding those who are agitating from within. Okay, you do it. If the heat is too much, you come, we are going to accept you. Now, I'm aware there are some people in Southern Cameroon who are on asylum in Nigeria. They are fighting the government of Cameroon. You know, they are English-speaking Cameroonians. Okay. So they are agitated. They say they need their own, independence. You know, that has been on for years. Now they move into Nigeria. The Nigerian government are granting asylum. Now, when they want to strike, when they want to, go on struggle, they cross their border. After the fight, they come back to Nigeria. So, I see a dangerous trend in this asylum thing, because it means that those guys are beginning to get international recognition.
All right.
But for the issue of we want to separate, I may not see Nigeria disintegrate under Buhari administration. We are going to continue like this. But again, that is if the government does not, address the injustice in the country. Because part of these things are issues that have to do with injustice, appointment, and all that in the country. But we are going to continue this way, struggling. Maybe, perhaps, after the next election, that is, if there will be one the way we are going, the next president may not be tolerated. Mark it.
That's a prediction.
The next president may not, if the system continues the way it's going.
Are we going to survive this?
The next president may not. That is when the.
Are we going to survive?
Okay, Cosmos, this chart is becoming very interesting. But what are your thoughts? Really, let me also even ask you specifically. Do you think this is something that can be done through dialogue, or do you think this is this has to be achieved via violence or attacks and all of that?
Well, I think in the history of the world, I haven't seen any revolution that has been accomplished without violence. So I think that's what they're going for. But I will start with the asylum, right? I would say that this is something that the UK government should stay out of. I think they've done enough when it comes to Nigeria, from colonizing the country to more recently still continue to loot resources from Nigeria. They should stay out of it. With the issue of separation, I agree also with the previous speaker that yes, Nigeria has to address this injustice. When a group of people do not feel justified and feel welcome in their own country, then it's a problem, regardless of whatever tribes or group that they belong to. So that still needs to be addressed, and it's something that should be dealt with internally in Nigeria. Lastly, of course, Nigerians jokingly saying that a lot of people would they gladly take the asylum, just like some of us that are in abroad, and so many people that I know that are not happy in abroad, regardless of what the situation is. When you're taken away from your home, it's a big deal. I know so many Nigerians there that are professionals, that are making, good money, 6-figure salary annually, but they're not happy. They're not happy. Look at the way Americans are treating Nigerians, treating African Americans, black people in the US, in the United Kingdom, like animals. This king is like a problem. They don't like it. So we're running from one problem, running to another problem. So it goes back to the same thing. We must address Nigeria. We must fix Nigeria. The government of Nigeria must show the love, the support, build Nigeria, and allow Nigerians abroad to come home also, and the ones in Nigeria to work together and fix this place so that we can all live peacefully. Are we going to be wishing that our great-grandchildren get American visas and UK passports and asylums? So that's my take on it. Thank you.
All right, Cosmos. Guys, let me take you up on something that very recently the governor of Abia State said, Okezie Ikpeazu. He said the issues of marginalization and inequality raised by the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, are valid. However, the governor has faulted the strategy, the approach. Do you think the governor is right about the antics and strategy of Nnamdi Kanu?
We have a very module situation. If we are having a problem in this part of the world now, especially Nigeria, you know why this crisis will continue? Because even the citizen of this country sees this problem. If something is happening in Abia, it's for Abia people. If something is going on in Oyo, it's for Oyo people. Something is happening in Kaduna, it's for Kaduna. That attitude is wrong. The Nigerian people should believe in Nigeria
as one.
If you don't believe in Nigeria, the political institution has divided us already. And there's no way we can come back, begin to listen. What is that governor saying? Is he correct? What is his partner saying? What is PDP, APC saying? If we don't see this thing as a general thing and begin to find a way out, there couldn't be any short way. The candor of this war or any other person will seem as if they are doing what is right. I'm telling you, some of these guys that are fighting for this cause, they don't even have the interest of this country. Because if they do, they should please let us, do they know the history of how this country began to divide? You blame that person, you blame that person, you blame this person. Everybody is involved. We are running a regional government at a point in time. How do we come together? What brought us to this one body called unitary system of government? So if you don't go down and say, okay, enough is enough, we are sorry, we've offended ourselves, there are mistakes, don't hold anybody at fault here. Like I'm saying now, those abroad wants to come on, do you think it's easy over there? Do you think it's easy? So whatever they are saying, there is nothing that can be logical, and there is nothing that is not logical. Right. What we need now is to come together and build a course on how, because if you can get this, if you can solve the problem within the eastern region of this country, it will extend to the west, I mean south, it will extend to the west, from the west, it goes to the north central, from north central, it begins to travel. Because the whole problem is about injustice. And when there's injustice, there's mistrust. And in the place of mistrust, there's going to be little of crisis, and we pray it doesn't move into anarchy. Right. So it is not about one man saying something, the other one countering it. It's a general problem that must be addressed by the national body.
All right, we'll come to that very quickly, because the issue of referendum and all in the southwest here, there have also been calls for that. They also, so we'll come to that very quickly, but as we get your reaction to Governor Ikpeazu's statement. But again, you can be a part of the program today. We do have numbers, a good number of you are still trying to call us. We cannot take your calls, but we can do your SMS and of course via WhatsApp. And so just we'll take them very shortly. But Sunday, Governor Ikpeazu has faulted the strategy of the IPOP leader. He said the issues raised are genuine, they're valid, but the strategy, he has a problem with that strategy.
Well, I think rather than Governor Ikpeazu blaming Nnamdi Kanu, Governor Ikpeazu should blame himself, first of all. When I talk Governor Ikpeazu, I mean political leaders in the southeast should blame themselves.
Because according to Ikpeazu, he said, quote, IPOP already have sentenced Southeast governors to death. I mean, I don't know what he means by that, but...
yeah. Don't let's doctor some of this.
Let's allow them to just settle their scores. But at the general level, the Southeast political leaders should blame themselves, including Governor Ikpeazu himself. Nnamdi Kanu has always been. He didn't come up today. Even when Jonathan was president, he was there. From Masop, after Wazirike, he worked with Wazirike. From Masop, he now have his own faction, and he has to tear away, and now began to lead IPOP. He has always been there. Even before Buhari came, President Muhammad Buhari came. Now, it is even the present government that created Nnamdi Kanu, because the actions they began to take, the boy has been talking. And not that he was neglected, but government was not necessarily taking actions that could attract public attention. But when suddenly they began rolling out soldiers to the southeast, here and there, so the guy was now becoming famous. So his fame began to grow. And suddenly, he now became what he is today. So the government actually helped him to become more popular than ordinarily he would have been if certain actions were not taken. I think that is where they lost it.
Now, the spokesman for President Muhammadu Buhari, Garba Shehu, I think early last week made a comment. He described those calling for secession as the problem of this country. And he made some very strong allegations. He said in time past, I mean, when they call for a breakaway, some people carry them aside and settle them with money. That the current president is never going to do that. He's never going, because you have mentioned that Nnamdi Kanu has always been there. He was there when Jonathan was there. We had Masob. But Garba Shew's comments now saying that this president is not going to bargain, is not going to negotiate, is not going to settle them, in quotes. I mean, very strong words, I think, from Garba Shew.
Well, you know, I hardly take him serious. I mean, Garba Shew.
That's the spokesman of Mr. President.
Yeah, I hardly take him serious because he has committed so many
the
flaws.
Mouthpiece of the
He
president.
has committed so many flaws in his communications over time. Especially at the point he told us that when they speak, you remember there was a time that everybody was like, Mr. President, you need to talk about this insecurity in this country. And this man came up and said that when they speak, Nigerians should take it as though this president has spoken.
I mean, maybe the president is, of course, gives them.
There's
the
a limit to which you can't assume the power of the president. The president wants to authorize you. You know, so that is why I hardly. Okay.
So it tells that
because
it tells that the president probably does authorize him to make this comment.
Well, may God help us if that is true. That is true. Because a lot of blunders have been committed in terms of making all these comments. Now, but when you look at that issue,
because you know he's a colleague in this profession. He's a journalist.
He was.
Okay, he was.
Now he's not.
Okay.
And you know, there's a mentality in this Nigerian system. When you're in the system, you see things differently. When you're out of the system, you become a pure Democrat. You talk like Nigerians who had ministers, you know, former ministers who are not preaching democracy today. But when they were there, they were telling us something in a different direction, and we were in disagreement with them. So now we are talking from the same direction. So he was a journalist, but now I don't think he is.
Let's see if we can read some messages here, because we have to move on and talk about other things. Someone here says, Biafra, this is the hand of God. We have seen the same thing in the Bible. Mark my words today. Unless these people go, it's going to get worse, it says. Okay. You didn't add your name to that. This one here says, I'm trying to see if I can get the one that has your name. Okay. It says there is a lot of insecurity of purpose on the part of the federal government. The security forces know where these bandits are. Why can't the security forces go after them? He's asking. The zeal with which the security agencies attacked Olu should be replicated in the forests where these bandits are situated. The impunity with which the herdsmen operate with the federal government looking the other way does not help issues either, he says. We'd like to thank you most kindly for your message. I think this one here is from Berenin Kebi. Mr. Bolumade says, the spate of agitations and internal security problems currently being experienced in the country, especially in the southwest and southeast, the cumulative effects of injustices that had been visited on the people through misgovernance over the years. Now, one of the best solutions to these problems or crises is to revisit the report of the 2014 National Confab, where far-reaching recommendations are made. People have been talking about this Confab 2014. Shola, you want to?
Yeah, I think one of the mistake the former president engaged himself with is not signing that that Confab document. And I believe
if he had signed it, would it have made a difference?
Yes, somehow. I think we would have gotten something to speak
the
from.
Implementation part.
Yeah, we would have gotten something to talk about now. But that exercise was like a waste now. And I tell people concerning this agitation, I pray this government is smart. Everybody has a second chance. This is not second chance now. This is the 10th chance if it is number. So that the song of Fela will not come and ring. You know I love Fela music. So that music, everybody run. Everybody scatter. Some people just run.
Because we are pressed for time.
Yeah, with their regular trademark. Yeah. Okay, you see, what I would say here is this. The government should be smart now. This agitation that you think this country is bound to live together by force, by fire, when the likes of Femi Kuti, the late Femi Kuti, the mother of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, when they started the agitation of the independence of this country in the 50s, some people will think they are just joking. Oyibo is smarter than them. When the likes of Enahoro and Awolowo continue with the struggle, don't mind them. Oyibo no go answer them. They don't even know. They are just not until in 1960 when they begin to hear that blast. Nigeria, that was when some people believed.
Yes.
So I just pray this government and the people of this country should be smart.